Welcome back to Figure Depot. Today we're taking a quick look at the Marvel Legends 50 Years Wolverine, Logan, and Sabertooth action figure pack from Hasbro Toys. We get our typical window box style package. Glad they got away from the windowless packaging that they tried for a little bit. I knew that wasn't going to last, but really glad this set came out before that for you inbox collectors, because wow, what a setup here. We have really nice artwork on either side. You see a nice cartoon image of Sabertooth. There we have the 50 Years logo down on the bottom. Really nice attention to detail there in the design. I love this little piece of artwork here we have on the back. That looks really nice. Got Sabertooth and Logan duking it out over here. I think this would make a cool iPhone wallpaper background. Probably gonna do that, not gonna lie. We get all of our little write-up here and illustrations from a classic comic cover where they face off against each other. And then on the other side, we get Wolverine's or Logan's artwork. We get the 50 Years badging down at the bottom. And then we get, of course, him at the top with the claws slashing through the artwork. That's a cool little effect there. So, really nice. And then, if you guys are trying to chase this down, here's the UPC, DCPI, whatever those things are called these days. And yeah, so really good stuff. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy open. We've got Wolverine kind of up higher in the package. If you were worried about the size discrepancy, don't be. So, looks really good. You have the alternate hands, playing cards, two heads for Sabertooth, and alternate hands. And then we have comic panels on the inside underneath the clamshell. So that looks pretty cool. And again, you recognize that from the cover, and then panels from within the comic. All right, here's Wolverine and Sabertooth out of the package, looking awesome. Yeah, this is the Sabertooth that we have been wanting for a long time. We got several different versions previously, but this is the one we've all been waiting for. I remember when they first made the Omega Red Buck, and then Warpath subsequently, I was like, we have to get Sabertooth on this buck. I also wanted a Venom, which they did. I still haven't picked that Venom up. I do have the movie Venom, and we'll look at that when we do comparisons. Some people were wanting this Sabertooth to be made on that movie Venom buck, which a lot of customizers have done, but to me his legs are just a little too spindly. You'd have to definitely beef up the sculpt on the lower body. So I think this is a really good choice. I think it captures how thick and meaty his legs are, but without having just crazy proportions, kind of like the Caliban figure, which the Caliban figure is just a chunk. He's just solid all over. And to me, Sabertooth kind of has an athletic trim look, somewhere between like an NFL linebacker and a bodybuilder, honestly. So I think this Omega Red Buck is the perfect choice, and I am just thrilled. This is a grail piece for me. This is one of those top figures in my collection that I've just been hoping for, and I'm so glad to finally have. Looking at the accessories, Sabertooth comes with alternate hands, and you can see the claws and the grain of the leather and all that. Looks really nice. Really good attention to detail on those. Really creepy. Looks like he's just gonna grab you and snatch you right up. Really like that a lot. Wrinkles in the and the palm and everything look really good. We get an alternate head, which is kind of this evil, menacing, sort of smiling head sculpt, and yeah, that looks creepy and scary, like it should. And then for Logan, we have a hand designed for actually holding the cards. So you can just fit the little playing cards in there, and it'll hold those. Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters branding on the back there. I don't know why this won't focus. Thank you, thank you. And then we got the playing cards on the other side. So that's pretty cool. Queens over sevens. And then we have our Logan head sculpt. Number 2, we get a brown hat on him in the package. This head has more of a kind of a smirk to it with the black hat, and then the one on the figure is a bit more of a stoic look. You can see just a bit more somber look on his face there. So while we're in here tight with Logan, we'll go ahead and take a quick look. I love the texture that they gave his shirt. The sculpt is good for the body proportions. It's kind of consistent with what we've seen in previous Logan figures. Nice detail on the belt there. Jeans have a nice texture. We got this with the Legendary Riders. We got these boots, legs, pretty much the entire lower body. And that fan channel exclusive also had the same setup, just of course in different colors. Stitching on the pockets, stitching on the belt itself, and then again, you know, the stitching in the shirt. All that looks really nice. Arms look good. We've got sculpted arm hair that's also painted, so that's nice. Sometimes they do one or the other. So it looks like he has a skin disease or a bad burn or something. This time they did both, so makes sense. His chest hair is the same way as well. Cowboy hat is a slightly different shape than the other one. It's got a nice pinch on either side and kind of a wide pinch at the top, whereas the other one's got a narrow, real narrow channel, and then just kind of a loose pinch on the outside with a little crease in the front. So the gold buttons on the shirt look really nice. Gold paint there. What I don't like is, in terms of articulation, if you just bend the forearm by itself, you can see this huge gap down here. Looks kind of crazy the way it just drops off. If you do them both together, it's really noticeable. Like, that's just wild looking to me. If you just bend this part, that's a little better because you kind of have a curve in that little disc down there. He does have pinless joints, so, but I don't know, it just, something about that looks off to me. I don't particularly love the bend and the way it breaks the sculpt up there, especially once you do this. That's just that's crazy looking. like, Hasbro, you're better than this. What is this? So that's kind of the only problem I have with this figure. I do love that they went with the movie style claws. I am very perplexed at what's going on with this elbow here. You get a good T-pose. Head goes down to there. Head goes up pretty well. So nice range out of that. You get your bicep swivel. You've already seen the double jointed elbows, and then of course you get your swivel and hinges at the wrists. This little diaphragm cut does not give you a ton of range in terms of crunching or going back. It's very, very limited. You get a little side to side. Again, a little side to side. So not a ton of range out of this. It does look more aesthetically pleasing than the standard crunch, but the range is not as good. We do get everything from the waist down is the same though. You get your swivel, get your split, get your forward kick. Rear is really not a whole lot. You get thigh swivel. Being a muscular figure, his heel isn't gonna go to the butt. That's about all you're gonna get out of that. Toes will point to there, go up to there, and of course we've got ankle pivot, ankle rocker, and yeah, it does rotate 360 also. So decent range out of Logan. Taking a closer look at Sabertooth here. Yeah, that head sculpt is awesome. He's mean looking, growling, screaming, laughing, all of the above. We get the digital print on the eyes. You can see white pupils with the little red speckled digital printing going on there. We do get a separate inlaid tongue piece into the mouth, so the teeth and gums are a separate piece. From what I can tell, you can pop the head off and see that little additional piece there is what tells you that story. But yeah, one thing about the wash here, you can see they did the wash right here and then it just stops. So from here around the back to the other side and then all along the back, the sculpting is awesome, but the paint wash is not present on the back. So I don't know why they just did a little spritz here and here. I am debating whether I want to just go in and add the rest of the highlights that they left off, or if I want to do the gray and white paint application to mine like was on this figure. I just don't know. I kind of like the gray and white look, but I kind of also like the blonde look. I think I may just go back in and touch it up, make it consistent all the way through. I'll either lighten this back up or I'll add some dark wash to the back side. I haven't decided yet. The detail and the sculpt on this guy is awesome though. Pinless joints on the upper body, and just like the Logan, they did not go pinless on the lower body. Sculpting on the feet and legs is awesome. I like the comic style sock type shoes. Got some wrinkles on his booty. Sabertooth is my favorite favorite Wolverine villain. Probably my favorite Marvel villain across all of Marvel Comics. That butterfly joint is nice, and the hair moves out of the way on the front. It's attached back here somewhere, so it kind of gets out of the way a little bit for you, so that butterfly range is not affected. So no problems there. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about articulation before we get into size comparisons. Head won't go up very far just because the mane blocks it. He can turn left and right very well, and he can look down very well. You get your T-pose, of course. Just be careful with this joint right here. A lot of people's arms pop off right there. Something about the peg and how it's mounted, it's just in there kind of loose. It is a soft rubber though, so it pops right in and right back out. So not a crisis, just more of an irritation. We do get double jointed elbows, which give you a great range. You know Marvel Legends, swivels and hinges here. We can look way back with our ab crunch and go way forward and down with our ab crunch. We can kick nice and high, does not go back a whole lot. We do get our swivel at the waist. People were wanting the Venom style waist cut so that he could crunch at the waist but also add the swivel, and yeah, that would have looked sick for sure, but I think that was the draw for people wanting to use this buck. But yeah, still glad they went with this one overall for the overall proportions. We do get our thigh cut, double jointed knees, toes will go up, down, and nice ankle pivot there. So articulation is awesome. You can get this guy in all kind of great poses. Let's look at some size comparisons. Actually, before we do that, here's a head swap with the Age of Apocalypse head sculpt, and that's a nice unmasked Sabertooth. The size of the head is bigger than the original release, so it fits pretty well actually, proportion wise. So you gotta pop the little ponytail off the bag, but looks good. Here he is with the original release. You can see the head's just a little small, a little undersized, although I do like the sculpt a lot. I like the facial expression. Kind of gives you more the animated series vibes, being the head so small and the body's so huge. But yeah, that's what that one looks like on there. If you want a head sculpt that kind of resembles what's on the back of the package, the Legendary Riders buck was released as a fan channel exclusive with the black tank top, and he came with an alternate head, and that kind of looks like the art on the back, so that's a nice look. Alright, so here is Sabertooth with the first appearance Sabertooth and the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Wave Sabertooth. So yeah, the proportions on that first one we got were just not great. First appearance Sabertooth is very small, and the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Sabertooth is, it's just weird proportions. Like, his legs are huge, but his upper body doesn't match the proportions. That Hyperion buck was just kind of all over the place. His hands look oversized or the size of everything else, and it just didn't work. I remember getting that figure when I first got it and just being really disappointed. So glad we have this update. Alright, here he is with the Diamond Select Sabertooth and the Age of Apocalypse Sabertooth. And you can see they are both bigger than he is. Diamond Select is supposed to be in a larger scale. Age of Apocalypse, if you recall the way he's drawn in the comics, and also if you recall the progression of action figures from Toy Biz in that 5-inch line, each version of Sabertooth from first appearance to this one to the Age of Apocalypse, he just got bigger and crazier looking. So kind of fun that we get that progression in the action figure line as well. Some people might wish that Sabertooth was as big as the Age of Apocalypse one, and that's probably that you know, animated series influence. If you look at the comics, he's kind of drawn all over the place. He's big, bigger, smaller. So, you know, I think this is a happy medium. They could have taken this buck and just increased the size, you know, like a few percent, and kept the proportions. I think that would have been ideal. The proportions on this thing are just perfect within itself. Scaling it up a bit might have made everybody happy, but, you know, I love it. I'm good with it like it is. Here he is next to a custom Venom on the Caliban buck. The Caliban body, X-Men 87 was saying he'd like to see the Sabertooth done on that buck, and it would be huge and crazy and scary looking. I'm not in love with the proportions. I think I have seen a Sabertooth actually done on this body before, a custom. It's been several years, so don't quote me. But yeah, it definitely would be big and scary looking, and probably a little closer in proportion with what we've seen in the animated series for those animated series fans. But I think the upper legs just look too small and squatty. Sabertooth, again, is very lean. Like, he's super muscular, but he has a longer proportions. And the buck he's on right now is just, again, is perfect. Colossus is bigger, taller. The Colossus figure, I think, is right around the same proportions and style and design in terms of muscular, you know, structure as that Age of Apocalypse Sabertooth. So here he is with Warpath, with whom he shares the same body buck, same lower body. Arms are different, of course, with the pinless update. Legs are essentially the same. He doesn't have the little shin cut that Warpath has, but everything else is pretty much the same. And then you can see the movie Venom. Yeah, he's taller, and like the shoulders are nice and big, but I still think the legs are too spindly to be a good buck for Sabertooth on that Venom buck. Alright, here he is with the Beast figure from, was this also Age of Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave? I can't remember. And then we have Gambit. I don't recall which wave he was from. I did do a head swap with the, I think it's the X-Men 97 head. I really love the hair sculpt on that. I was debating tracking down a Mafex Gambit head for a head swap, but then when they released this, I was like, yep, that'll get it. So, very happy with that head. I might paint the hair a little bit darker of a color, so it's not just a stark, almost orange brown. So I may go back in and either put a wash on it or paint it a little darker, but the sculpt is perfect. I love it. And here he is with a couple really big boys. We've got the Juggernaut and Hulk. And you can see they are massive compared to him. Alright, here we have the Age of Apocalypse Tiger Stripe Wolverine, and then the retro carded Outback Wolverine mite. So yeah, these look nice together each. The yellows on these coordinate very well with Sabertooth. They're kind of that golden yellow spectrum. His are a little bit oranger than theirs are, but pretty close. Here he is with the first appearance Wolverine and the I can't remember what wave that darker brown suit Wolverine came in. It's I'm trying to remember who all was in that. I think we got Cable in that, and can't remember who else was in it, but that was a great wave. Jean Grey maybe. Had a lot of good stuff in that wave. All the X-Men waves have been grand slams. Really have enjoyed the X-Men stuff that they've put out with the Hasbro Marvel Legends, and this new set fits right in so well with all of those. And just in case you're curious how he scales with McFarlane figures, there you go. McFarlane's scale is all over the place, so depending on which one you are going with, he'll work in a little better if you want to kind of do a cross universe display or fight scene or whatever. That's the Superman that comes with Crypto, with the Last Sun, or the Red Sun, sorry, Superman head swap. And then that's my custom Batfleck Batman. I've got it repainted. I put on a leather cape and then lowered the head peg. And you can see, of course, it's a larger scale, so these guys all stand a little taller than Sabertooth, but he's definitely got as much beef as Superman, and definitely bigger than Batman there. Transitioning to some Logan comparisons, you can see how he scales in with some of the previous releases. We're all kind of built on the same buck with just some slight tweaking here and there, retooling and stuff for the character specific or issue specific or story arc specific versions of the characters. I liked the Mezco Ronin Wolverine, so I kind of made my own custom, and I like how it turned out. It'd be cool to get an X-Force black and gray suit, Sabertooth, to go with the, I think we've got a Deadpool already, and then of course we have this Wolverine. Those would all look pretty fun together. And you can see the previous Cowboy Logan buck they used has got the same upper body and arms as this is the Legendary Riders, and then you had the fan channel exclusive, which has the open screaming face that I like to use in my Wolverines because I really like that head sculpt for Unmasked Wolverine. But you can kind of see how those compare there. And for one last comparison, we have our Hugh Jackman movie Wolverine figures, and similar, you know, stylistic concepts there, but real world application versus comic, you can see the differences. As you can plainly see, I love me some Sabertooth by the volume of Sabertooths I have in my collection. Always loved the Toy Biz figure. I had the 5-inch one. I just recently sold it. I sold off all my 5-inch X-Men figures last year, mid-late last year. But I kept my 11-inch Sabertooth because I just have always loved that figure, and the proportions on it I thought were really cool. And most closely match this guy. You look at the legs, and the huge quads, big calves, but that smaller waist, and then a big bulky chest and arms. So yeah, I think this figure right here more faithfully represents what I played with as a kid and kind of what my idealized Sabertooth figure looks like. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these figure comparisons and this review. This is a fantastic figure. If you're a Sabertooth fan, Wolverine fan, I'd highly recommend getting this set. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.